Guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I am so happy to have you here. Before we get into the video, I would love to say, if you would love to join these lovely people here on the side of the screen, feel free to click that link down in the description. It takes you to my Twitch channel. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at about 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're ever bored around that time, come hang out with us. We would love to have you. Today, we are going to be talking about a video by a creator. We've talked about her before. I know definitely on the stream. I'm not sure if I ended up making a video about it, but I really did like her original video, and I really like this video. So what the creator's name is Maddie Fitness, and the title of this video is Let's Talk About Body Dysmorphia, the Fitness Industry's Truth. So if you don't know much about body dysmorphia, you will now, and we're going to talk about it. So let's see what she has to say.
The fitness industry is a weird space.
One thing I really like about her is she's not like me, and she just starts the video off right away. Yeah, it was a Gymshark video, and I do think I made the video out of it. I've made so many videos, I forget sometimes, okay? But I liked her video then, I like her video now, all right? So, okay.
You've got people flexing 24/7. You've got people selling programs, telling you how to look like them. It's full of people with what looks like massive egos. But behind all of this is something that a lot of people aren't really talking about. And that's, as you can see from the title, body dysmorphia.
So 100% she's correct, but also I think you can have a massive ego and still have body dysmorphia. You know, I'm sure they still have massive egos. But okay, that's just
The thing is, it can happen to literally anyone. Male, female, non-binary, transgender, whoever you are, no matter where you are on your fitness journey.
This is so true, and this is, obviously this is something that happens a lot with people that are trying to put on muscle, they're trying to get stronger, they're trying to get bigger. I think I don't know whose quote it is. I want to say Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I could be completely off on that. But it's like, the day you step foot into the gym is the day you feel infinitely small. Like, you feel small for the rest of your life, because you start working on this thing, and then you always feel like you want more, you want more, you want more, right? And then for those of us that have lost a lot of weight, or that are losing a lot of weight, we hear this all the time, right? It's like, I've lost 100 pounds, but when I look in the mirror, I still see the same person, right? That's something that you hear a lot. So it definitely is something that affects a large amount of people. Like, if you're going from gaining weight or you're going from losing weight, like, there are a lot of people that deal with this.
And no one really cares, because it's not something like anorexia. It's not something where people can physically see it in you. Let's talk about what body dysmorphia is. Body dysmorphia in basic form is when you look in the mirror and you see something that isn't really there. So quite often you'll see in fitness that men will have this. They'll look in the mirror and they'll see themselves as smaller than they are. They'll be training for years and years. Their muscles would have grown an insane amount, but they still see themselves as that skinny guy. Body dysmorphia is basically all in your head. And it's not like it's just happening with your average gym goer. You're seeing creators like Tristan Lee, who's literally walking around at like 4% body fat, absolutely shredded, looks incredible, talking about how he's not happy with his physique.
So I don't know who this is, like, just full transparency, I've never heard of this guy, but I think that it's awesome that he, brings it up. So I'm going to read what the post says. The whole post isn't visible, but I think it'll be interesting. So it says, battling myself, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this, mostly from people saying, I told you so, or I knew it, but I think it's better said than not. For the past year or so, more significantly these past few months, I've struggled with a ton of irrational perception of what I look like, mostly physically. I've always been someone to say F what everyone says, or what they say doesn't matter, but what you do say to someone who's constantly battling against themselves, do I tell myself, F your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, they don't matter? How can you escape the constant negative thoughts about your view of yourself? That's a very good point. Not quite as simple as removing yourself from a bad social environment or shutting off social media. It's an internal struggle to be able to finally be able to look at myself positively. Depression, anxiety, that constant feeling of not being good enough or failing to please yourself slowly kills you. Yeah, it's crazy how I love that comparison because a lot of times I'm sure a lot of us have heard well, like don't y- a lot of us talk to ourselves in ways that we would never let someone else talk to us, right? If like I know for me definitely as well, like I'll say stuff to myself and in my head that like if someone said that to me, I'd be like, "Well, I don't want to be around you. Like we're not going to be friends. Like I don't there's why would I want to be friends with you, right?" But when that's going on in your head, it's really hard to just completely get rid of that, right? And so let's see if I can. So I was sent the post. So it's an internal struggle. Okay, here we go. You tell everyone I'm fine or F off to the point where every battle has to be fought alone, and it's almost always your fault for pushing everyone away. It's this constant cycle of needing to be better and never appreciating the successes you've achieved and the sacrifices you've made up until this point. I'm not making this post for people to feel bad or get other sympathy, but I want to be vocal about something that I know a ton of people keep internal, especially with kids my age or even younger. If you're battling something that's internal, you're not alone. You don't have to be afraid or guilty or ashamed. Sometimes the internal battles get overlooked by the constant scrimmaging, blitzing, and chaos going on in the external. For me, that's social media, business, creating content. It all means nothing if you can't enjoy the success, and the success isn't necessarily materialistic. Sometimes it's simply being able to enjoy the process, just like I did when I was 13 years old. The 13-year-old kid who picked up a dumbbell for the first time. I don't know if this helps anyone, but it's more than just for me to voice some of the internal struggles I go through. So at least it's that. And then there are some photos of him. He's like really young as well, I think. Which is, yeah, it's tough, man. Like, it's something that this is why I don't really like. I remember I'm not sure if these things are at all related, and maybe they're not, but I remember when I got really into kind of like the hustle culture and got really into you just need to work harder, you just need to do more, you just need to be better, you just need to do this. And it's like anytime you think you maybe need a break, it's like stop being a weenie. You need to just keep going. Anytime you might think, hey, maybe like I need to take care of myself. It's like, no more sleep, sleep less, work more, do better, right? It's really hard when that is being pushed down your throat nonstop, right?
He has body dysmorphia. And this for me, I think it's mind blowing because no one's really taking it that seriously. No one's really talking about it. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I was in a cab the other day. I was in London and I was in a cab with one of my friends, and he was talking about fitness because we both go to the gym, and he was talking like how he's happier with his body and stuff. And I don't even know where it came from. I said, I genuinely think I was happier with my body when I wasn't training. And looking back.
So this happens to so many people because you start things that you maybe didn't focus on before are now becoming things that you are focusing on. Like, I mean, she has incredibly rounded delts, but like a lot of people, like my delts just aren't round enough, or my glutes, if they were just a little bit bigger, or they were just a little bit this, or like a lot of times it's things that we can't even change, right? It's like, oh, if my calves were bigger, or if like I just wish my insertions were a little bit different, or whatever it might be, right? These are things that we can't change, regardless of how much work we might put in at the gym. Like you can't change the way that your muscles are inserted, the way that that's unless you get cosmetic surgery, right? So this is definitely something that like for sure a lot of people struggle with.
That wasn't worded right. I'm not happy with my body now compared to the past, but I critique my body to another level now. And this is something I think is happening in fitness constantly because
this happens a lot, and I think a big part of it is social media in general, right? Because so many people, like everyone posts like pictures of them posing and them as looking as lean as possible or as good as possible, the best angle as possible. Like we all do that. That's a very normal thing. But of course, like I've said before, we compare our bloopers to someone else's highlight reel. So someone might be really proud of their chest, and so they always make sure they show it, and it's like, wow, that's a big chest. Then you are insecure about your chest, so you compare your chest to that person's chest, but also they have a pump, the lighting is perfect, maybe they edited a little bit, put some more structure on it, made it look a little bit better, they're looking at great angles, and you're just kind of looking straight on. Like, there are so many things. And then you're just comparing yourself, which usually is a disaster in and of itself anyways, right?
As soon as you start training, you are critiquing your body. You are trying to decrease your body fat percentage. Maybe you're trying to increase your muscle mass. So you are taking apart every little bit of your body. And this is why I had to talk about this, because I really deep down I'm happy. I'm happy with my body, I'm happy with my growth and how I'm going in my fitness journey. But if I'm feeling this, imagine how the rest of the fitness industry is feeling. And you never know, me talking about this might make you realize that potentially you're suffering a bit. So how do you know? How would you know what the symptoms are? Well, I think someone that makes the gym their life in an obsessive way because they're not happy with themselves is a clear sign of it. Potentially avoiding social situations which mean not getting your body out, so the beach or a pool party, or avoiding social situations because it ruins your routine, like going out for meals.
Yeah, one of the things that's really crazy, but it definitely happens with a lot of people, is you end up spending so much time in the gym, but it's almost like the more time you spend in the gym, the less happy you are with your body. So you might have before went and gone to a pool party and taken your shirt off or whatever, wear a bikini, whatever it might be, and not really thought much about it. But, and I think that this is another thing with social media, because you started lifting and working out. So you're like, okay, let's follow other people that are doing these things. And what are you seeing? These perfect, edited, beautiful photos all the time, constantly. It's always perfection, right? So then, on top of, you are now extra critiquing your body, you are seeing other people's bodies who look perfect all the time, and all of the other media, you're watching YouTube videos about fitness, all of these things are happening because you have decided that this is a new hobby. And I'm not trying to demonize fitness, like, I think it's great, but it's important to just understand that can happen.
Worried about calorie counting. All of these things are signs that you might have body dysmorphia, or you might have something else going on there. And I feel like, because as fitness lovers, we're all very dedicated to what we do, there's quite a fine line, because I put my hands up, I'm very obsessive, I have habits in place. And some people would say that's too obsessive, but I don't, because I can control it. I can say, you know what, I want to do that. But there are people that can't. And there's such a fine line between having actual disorder and having something that you can't mentally control. And then
this is so true. And I think that, I mean, it's important. Like, some people, you just get obsessed with stuff. Like, I this is like kind of random, but I have ADHD, right? And so I get hyper fixated on things, and I become all about it. It's just how I am. It's how I've been my entire life. So right now, as you can see, skateboarding. I've been skating for 5 months. It literally takes up every waking thought that I have. Okay? But for a while, it was drumming. Drumming was my biggest thing in the entire world, right? But the thing with drumming all the time, and that being my thing, there was the most danger that I could be in is annoying people because I'm always drumming. Right? Or with skating, it's like annoying people because I'm always skating. And then, I mean, you can hurt yourself, obviously, right? But when it comes to fitness and weight loss, that can also be very dangerous, because you can become obsessed with losing weight as fast as possible, right? Or you can become obsessed with the gym and be in there all the time to where it is a problem, right? So this happens to a lot of people, and I think there are a good amount of people that might have this kind of way of going about life that they don't even realize, and they've latched on to fitness, which is great, but it can be a problem.
And just being obsessive and wanting to be the best at it. There are certain things that I think more recently haven't been helping this, and obviously a huge one is social media. A lot of my channel was talking about the fitness industry and creators and things like that. But I think because there are so many people in the world, and you can see them all on social media, you are constantly comparing. In the past, hardly anyone created content. YouTube was a platform where hardly anyone was really on it. And if they were, you thought they were really cool, you'd follow them, but they weren't someone you'd really compare yourself to because they were an influencer. But now, these influencers are like your everyday person, well, you think they are, so you compare yourself to them, and there's literally millions. But not just that, these people are getting the best angle, they are editing, they are doing absolutely everything possible to make their body look great for the picture, which of course you're posting your top 1%, but it means that everyone else is just comparing. I definitely think this has led to the popularity of substances as well, because a lot more people are open about it, which I think is great, but a lot more people are on substances, and their aim isn't to compete. They just want their body to be the best it possibly can be. And I've got no issue with that. It's completely your decision. I've done videos on being unnatural before, but it's the fact that they may be doing it for the wrong reason. You're literally taking substances because you hate your own body and you think this can fix it, and that is when it's dangerous. The final
Facts. That is such a good point. And I've said this many times, like, if you are changing your body from a place of self-hatred, whether that's losing weight, gaining weight, whatever it might be, that is very dangerous. I don't want to say it all in all, it's always going to be a bad thing, but if you are coming from that place, a lot of times the things that you will do to make that happen are very dangerous, right? It might be really cutting your calories super low, not eating anything, or beating yourself up, going to the gym and just like doing hours and hours of cardio and just hating it the entire time. It can be that. It can be this, taking PEDs, taking steroids, doing these things that can be incredibly dangerous for your body if you're not doing it correctly, and they can ruin things, right? Like it's just, you got to be careful if that's where you're coming from.
final thing that I think has become a little bit dangerous, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, this is personal opinion at this point, but bulking and cutting. So this is especially popular with men because I think there's a lot of pressure on men to be bigger, be more muscular. But then there's also the pressure to be lean. So be huge, but also have a six-pack. So this whole idea of bulking and cutting, when you're bulking, you may lose that six-pack. You may get a fatter face. Well, you will get a fatter face. And that is something that I think can really, really be triggering for a lot of people. And Brett Mossing did a great video on this, so I'll make sure to link that one below, talking about how when he was bulking, he ended up basically hating his body. It gave him body dysmorphia. Well, I would call it that because if you look at his body, it's phenomenal. He looks absolutely amazing, but he saw himself as fat. He saw himself as someone that he didn't want to be. And I think this whole bulking, cutting is like, you end up half the year hating yourself, having.
And I mean, on top of this, like, I think Greg talks about this a lot. Greg just said, it's like, it's for most people, it's not necessary to bulk and cut. Like, you don't need to put on a ton of fat so you can add muscle. If you just do, which I think he calls it like maintaining or main gaining or gaintaining, whichever one it is. Like, basically, and this is what I've done for years, is like, you just eat a regular amount of calories. You don't need to be in a huge surplus and just lift and work out. You are going to gain muscle over time. That's what I've done. I mean, I haven't freaking bulked in I don't know how long, but I was 180 pounds on stage. I weigh 215 now. Obviously, I have a good amount of fat more from when I stepped on stage, but I also have a good amount more muscle. And I don't think it's necessary to consistently be like, I have to eat so much more calories. All right, I have to cut it down. Eat so much more calories. All right, cut it down. It's not necessary. I think it makes it harder than it needs to be anyways.
Body dysmorphia because you're so used to being so lean. And then when you're lean again, you're happy, but you may think that you're too small. And bulking and cutting works. You see it firsthand with some amazing, amazing fitness influencers. But there's definitely a fine line between doing it to gain muscle and to fit within your program, and then just going OTT and literally drinking olive oil, which I've seen creators do. In a time where everyone wants to be the best, everyone wants to be the biggest, and you can compare that with millions of others, when does this stop? Like, there's no ending to this video. I'm not like giving people suggestions. I'm literally like, when does it stop? Because you can't stop comparing yourself with others unless you are in the mental state and confident enough in yourself. But that's very difficult to have. So I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you agree with a lot of these points. I really enjoy doing videos like this where I'm talking more about personal opinion and like looking at everything as a whole rather than just critiquing certain influencers and stuff. It's not really my thing. So if you enjoy this style of video, please let me know. I'd really appreciate it.
So that was a great video. You guys should check her out. Like, for me, as far as like, I don't know, I can't say where it ends for everybody. The thing that helped me a lot, because I genuinely can say I feel very lucky about this. I don't know exactly how I got to this point, but I personally don't feel like I have any body dysmorphia. And that might sound crazy from someone that has the amount of loose skin that I have and all of that stuff. But I think a big part of it is because I am like, I don't focus on how I look. Like, that's not how I look. That's not the thing that is in my mind, the thing that matters the most. For a long time, it's been, how do I perform? How am I doing in the gym? Am I getting stronger? Am I able to do more muscle ups? Am I able to do this? Like right now I'm skating. So like, have I learned heel flips yet? Have I learned kick flips yet? I want to do a tray flip. I want to do this thing over this gap. Like, there are so many other things, and like that involves my body, but it's not how it looks. How am I performing has really helped me a ton. Like, it really, really has. And so again, I'm not going to sit there and say that's going to be the solution for everyone. Everybody is different. But really getting out of the bodybuilding mindset and just like, progress equals my body being leaner, bigger, whatever it is, that really messed me up. And like, I used to be really, critical. But now it's like, am I getting stronger? Am I getting faster? Am I getting better at skating? Are these other things that I can focus on? When I did the triathlon, are my numbers going down? Am I getting faster on the run? All of those things. Am I swimming better? They made it so it just wasn't about how I looked. And that really did help me a ton. So again, I don't have an answer for this, but I thought that this was a great video. And I think that, just be aware. It's not like it's the end of the world. I do think that you definitely can come out of that, especially for those of us that have lost weight. I think a big part of it just is time as well. Like, the longer that you have the weight off, I think, not always, and again, like, everybody's different, but I do think that that helps. So if you're just lost weight and you're like, I still feel like I'm 400 pounds, give yourself a little bit of time. And like, for me at least, it did help a lot. But again, fantastic video. Make sure you check her out. There'll be a link in the description. Yeah, good stuff.